Hi, everybody. This is Ken Nicodemus at the FitStop Human Performance Lab here in San Marcos, California. I wanted to present to you an interview I'm going to have here with one of my clients. His name is Greg Finstad. He is a runner, a pretty good runner up in Alaska. He is actually a professor at the University of Alaska. We've been working together to try and PR at Boston, the Boston Marathon. Obviously, this year it's been put on hold. But more specifically, the reason I wanted to interview him at this time is because he just recently came down with COVID-19 and is on the recovery side. And I thought it might be interesting, if not informative, to ask him some questions, see how it went for him. How did his story go as far as dealing with the virus, and where is he at now? And maybe he might have some things to share with us. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Greg. All right, Greg, thanks so much for being willing to come on with me and talk a little bit about the things you've been going through here lately. I really appreciate it. First question, though, is how are you feeling right now?
Well, I feel much better, but I still feel pretty beat up.
Yeah.
I have a sore throat and hoarse, a little bit of congestion, and still very weak. That's the biggest thing for me is just if I exert at all, I have to take a nap. I mean, I'll have to take a 2-hour nap after this interview.
That's pretty significant. Are you still in quarantine right now, or have you been able to get out?
No, I'm still in quarantine, but my wife showed a few symptoms, so we have to wait for her test results to come back. But the whole medical community, I think, well, they were caught with their pants down.
Right.
About quarantining and isolation, and when I go back out into the community, they're still in discussion about when I can actually go out into the public.
Really?
The state is in lockdown now, so it's not like I can go out and visit people as it is.
Right. Yeah, same with here in California. We're pretty much supposed to be kind of sticking around and not getting out and about. So give me a little bit of a timeline. I think we talked a little bit before or emailed back and forth, but when did you really start to think, when you started to present with symptoms and you thought it might be COVID-19?
Well, it was the end of February, and my dad died, and he was living in Vancouver, Washington.
Right.
Right at the end of February. So I went down there for the memorial and to help my mom move into assisted living. And when I was there, that's when Washington sort of became the hot spot.
Right.
And so I was a little bit concerned about it, but I had other things on my mind. And right after that, I left and went to go to Buffalo, New York for a meeting. But at the time, there was nothing in Buffalo. And then I flew home. And so I got home about, I don't know, this 5th, the 8th of March. And fortunately, it was spring break. And we always take our granddaughters to our cabin.
Right.
We have a cabin in the mountains, so we loaded up and we went to the cabin. We were there about 4 days, and boy, I was just getting fatigued and tired, sore throat, and the next couple of days, I was so tired I could barely lift my arm. I started to get a gagging cough, and I started to get a fever.
Right.
And so, which was fortunate because when you have this, there's some guilt for it. you don't want to spread it to someone else or food.
Sure.
Especially if someone dies from it, you would just, I mean, you would feel awful if you spread
Yeah.
it. And so fortunately, we were very confined in a cabin, so I just exposed our immediate family.
Yeah.
We came home, and it was about day 5 or 6. I felt the body aches, the gagging cough. I just felt like a severe flu. About 5 or 6 days into it, that's when uh, this bug demonstrated it is very different from the flu. Uh, my lungs, it moved into my lungs, and it felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest. And
Yeah.
every breath, it was just like knives. And so I was just able to, uh,
Oh my.
and I tried to go to the hospital, but the hospital, they didn't really want me at all. They weren't ready to deal with this. And I said I didn't quite fit the criteria. I had to gasp for breath after every word. I was just gasping for breath after the sentence.
And that didn't fit the criteria. My word. What does? Gosh. Yeah.
They said the only thing they could do is give me oxygen or intubate. There's nothing else. So I stayed at home, but I was worried. My wife was worried. We both started crying. I thought it was the end because it was so severe and happened so quickly. Uh, every breath I was able to take, I was so thankful I could take one more breath.
Yeah.
But I made it through the night and the next day, and then gradually I improved. But
My goodness.
just to tell you and anybody else, 85% of the people, it's very mild symptoms, but it's the 15%. It is awful. It scares you to death. It is a bad, bad bug.
Yeah, that's what we've been hearing. So had you ever had asthma or anything like that in the past? Was there anything that would put you at a little bit more of a risk of having that kind of 15% effect?
Yes, I had asthma as a kid, and every time I catch a respiratory flu, I always end up with bronchitis or pneumonia. So
Right.
I was very concerned. The doctors were very concerned. They put me on prophylactic antibiotics so I wouldn't get pneumonia.
Right.
But I, as soon as I could, and actually I have to thank you quite a bit. Even though I was tired, I felt sick, I still tried to get up and move around a little bit, do my core exercises, just so it wouldn't settle into my chest.
Yes.
And just that little bit of activity, I think helped me immensely.
Yeah.
But, just laying in bed, for 2
If nothing else, psychologically, just being able to get up and move around. Yeah. Now, right now, it's been since you're kind of on the recovery stages. I mean, you already said that when you go out and do any kind of activity, you have to take a nap or rest. But do you feel it getting better each day, or is it kind of hanging around?
Well, it's still always here. I still have some congestion and sore throat, but every day I feel a little bit stronger. But
Right.
I'm an old guy and pretty weak. It's gonna take me a long time to get back to where I was. Yeah, you and I, we were on the way to Boston.
Right.
And ready to
Well,
go.
I was just looking back over the Training Peaks calendar, and it was mid-February. You had a week of about 37 miles. So it's not like you you, in true to form, we're putting in a lot of miles. You're not a weak individual, and we know, if you don't mind me sharing, you have a high aerobic capacity for your age group. So it's not like you are frail or anything like that. You definitely are a very fit individual, but that doesn't necessarily matter, other than that's what helped you get through that night. But yes,
I believed it to help me that I was a strong individual to get through it, but it is a very different bug when it gets into your lungs. I don't care how strong you are. It's your immune system. I mean, it is pretty frightening.
yeah. Well, definitely a testament how important it is for us to really do what we can to stay at home right now and avoid spreading this to, especially to any of those of us out there who potentially get to that severity that you had. I've had some asthma in the past, and I've had a couple of pneumonias, and so
yes,
concern.
You need to be careful.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Yeah, you need to watch. You do not want it. But I need your help quite a bit because, well, as soon as I can, I'm gonna be out running again. And I'm a bit of a hammerhead.
Right.
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna try to overdo it. So as always, you're the governor. It's your job to
right.
Yeah.
Well, you and me both. I've had, like I said, a couple of those pneumonias, and I kind of bring those on and extend them out all the time because you try not to do too much way too quickly.
Yeah.
You definitely got to let this, I would imagine, especially for this, is let it take its time and come back slowly. Make sure you're getting more rest than you are active and moving as far as strenuous type stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing us get back on the road again, but hopefully it'll be the right progression there, so we don't overdo it.
Right, we have a date, middle of September, Boston.
That's right. September's going to come up pretty quick.
Yeah, way too quickly.
Right.
I'll see if we're ready for it. Hopefully, we will be.
I'm sure you will. Well, it's so good that you're on that recovery road and you're looking good, even though I'm sure you're going to take a nap after this conversation.
Yeah.
But I really do appreciate it, and I'm sure the listeners will too. So,
yes, be safe. It is. You have to follow all the guidelines. Believe me, you do not want this. You do
definitely.